What if everything we thought we knew about human history was just the tip of the iceberg? Imagine, buried beneath layers of sand and clay, hidden in the cracked tablets of a civilization that thrived over 5,000 years ago, lies knowledge so profound it could rewrite everything we believe about humanity. The Sumerians, builders of the world's first cities, record keepers of forgotten ages, may have seen the world in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Their cuneiform tablets whisper secrets of astronomy, mathematics, and technologies far beyond what their era should have allowed. Could these texts be remnants of a wisdom lost to time? Could the echoes of their knowledge reshape our understanding of human potential and civilization itself? Step into the heart of ancient Mesopotamia. Visualize the bustling streets of Ur and Uruk, towering ziggurats reaching to the sky, and marketplaces, alive with merchants trading goods, ideas, and knowledge. Amid the chaos, scribes meticulously inscribe clay tablets with precise symbols, an act that might seem ordinary, but was, in truth, an extraordinary leap toward preserving human thought. For millennia, every tablet tells a story. Some detail mundane transactions, grain, livestock, and labor. Others hint at cosmic understanding, charting stars with mathematical precision or recording celestial events with a sophistication that rivals modern instruments. The more we study them, the more astonishing patterns emerge, patterns that suggest the Sumerians were not only chroniclers of their world, but architects of knowledge that stretched far beyond their time. Why does this matter to us today? Because buried in these records may lie insights into survival, innovation, and societal lessons the Ice Age taught our ancestors and that Sumerians codified for posterity. The line between myth and history blurs, leaving us to wonder, have we overlooked truths simply because they were encoded in a language few today can read? Tonight, we embark on a journey through time, uncovering mysteries, piecing together fragments of civilization, and walking the thin line between history and legend. As the shadows of Sumerian ziggurats rise against the dawn of memory, we are reminded that every story we tell is built upon the stories of those who came before. The question is no longer what we know but what we have yet to rediscover. Long before the sun ever reflected off the clay walls of Ur, humans wandered a world sculpted by ice and stone. Vast glaciers stretched like frozen oceans, tundras whispered secrets of survival, and mammoths, reindeer, and cave lions roamed under skies painted with auroras. These were the Ice Age humans, our ancestors, forged in cold, endurance, and unyielding. Challenged. Migration was not choice but necessity. Tribes followed the rhythm of the seasons, the movements of prey, and the availability of shelter. They navigated vast landscapes with an instinct honed over millennia. Archaeological evidence from flint tools scattered across European plains to the charred remains of hearths reveals a life of meticulous adaptation. These tools were more than mere objects, they were lifelines. Spears designed to pierce the thick hides of mammoths, scrapers shaped to process animal hides into warm clothing, and grinding stones to extract nourishment from roots and seeds. All speak of an intelligence tailored to survival. Shelters tell a story of ingenuity. In the caves of Chauvet and Lascaux, humans not only found refuge, but canvases for their earliest expressions. Over fires, they crafted homes from bones and hides, insulating against wind and snow, demonstrating that necessity often breeds artistry. Diets were diverse. The Ice Age table was not just meat. It included fish, nuts, berries, and tubers. A sophisticated understanding of nutrition, revealed through isotopic analysis of ancient bones. But survival was not only physical. Social bonds were the scaffolding of endurance. Hunter-gatherer bands, often no more than 30 individuals, depended on cooperation, shared labor, communal care for the young and infirm, and ritualized behaviors ensured that every member contributed and thrived. Emotions were etched into every interaction, from the intimacy of nightly fireside storytelling to the collective joy of a successful hunt. It was a life of immediate consequence, where every action had meaning, and every individual mattered. Imagine traversing a landscape where every day demanded vigilance, creativity, and courage. Nightfall brought darkness deeper than any city street today, pierced only by the flicker of firelight. Here, songs may have guided movement, musical notes encoded memory and place, and art preserved experiences beyond words. These early humans were not merely surviving, they were living within a complex framework of culture, community, and cognition that modern societies often overlook. Yet, there was a fragility to this brilliance. A sudden storm could wipe out game. An unexpected frost could destroy gathered roots. Life demanded constant adaptation, and humans responded with ingenuity. Fire was not merely warmth but technology, clothing, tools, and art were extensions of mind and spirit. In a very real sense, the Ice Age forged humans into thinkers, planners, and innovators, traits later immortalized in civilizations like Sumer. The contrast with modern humanity is striking. We live in comfort, our survival no longer a daily calculus but a managed certainty. Yet, in understanding our Ice Age ancestors, we glimpse the roots of resilience, cooperation, and intelligence that would eventually culminate in city-states, ziggurats, and written records. From the frozen plains to the first tablets of Sumer, the thread is clear. Human ingenuity is timeless, and every innovation is layered atop millennia of learned survival. The Ice Age was a crucible, shaping not only the body but the mind, preparing our species for the leaps that lay ahead. And as we step into the warm, bustling cities of early Sumer, we carry with us echoes of that frozen past, a past that still teaches us about adaptation, community, and the extraordinary capacity of humans to thrive against the odds. The first cities rose like mirages from the riverbanks of the Tigris and Euphrates, where once there had been marshes and reed beds. This was Sumer, the cradle of civilization, a land where humans transformed from wandering hunter-gatherers into urban architects of society. Streets were laid with intention, canals channeled life-sustaining water, and temples reached skyward, honoring gods both feared and revered. Writing emerged not as an art, but as necessity. Early Sumerians began with pictograph symbols pressed into clay to account for goods, livestock, and trade. These simple marks evolved, over centuries, into cuneiform, the wedge-shaped writing that would preserve not only economic transactions, but the stories, laws, and wisdom of a people. The discovery of thousands of clay tablets in Uruk, Nippur, and Lagash reveals a society both complex and meticulous, documenting everything from grain inventories to poetic hymns. Sumerian cities were marvels of early urban planning, streets aligned with precision, homes ranged to maximize airflow and sunlight, and marketplaces pulsed with the rhythm of commerce. Social hierarchy was clear. Priests and rulers held both spiritual and temporal power. Artisans crafted goods of exquisite quality, and laborers maintained the infrastructure that allowed civilization to flourish. Yet even in hierarchy, there was cohesion, a recognition that every role mattered. Trade networks stretched far beyond the Fertile Crescent. Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, timber from the Zagros Mountains, and shells from distant seas testify to connections that rival modern commerce. Sumerians exchanged not just goods but ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. The tools they wielded, from bronze weapons to irrigation implements, reflected a sophistication unmatched by contemporary societies elsewhere. Monumental architecture, ziggurats, city walls, and canals was not only functional but symbolic. Each structure told a story of human ambition, spiritual devotion, and societal organization. Archaeologists uncovering these sites have marveled at the precision of brickwork, the careful alignment of temple staircases, and the artistic detailing of ceremonial artifacts. The cities themselves were both laboratories and stages, where human ingenuity, labor, and imagination combined to create enduring legacies. Yet perhaps the most profound revelation is the scale of Sumerian record-keeping. Thousands of tablets cataloged astronomical observations, mathematical calculations, and early legal codes. The Code of Urnamu, predating Hammurabi's laws by centuries, reveals a society conscious of justice, fairness, and governance. From trade contracts to epic tales, the written word became both memory and instrumental way to preserve civilization against the erosion of time. The transition from Ice Age survival to Sumerian society was staggering. Humans moved from intimate bands dependent on instinct and immediate experience to vast, organized communities capable of abstract thought, long-term planning, and cultural continuity. Knowledge became cumulative. Each generation could build upon the last, accelerating innovation and shaping the trajectory of humanity. In this cradle of civilization, the seeds of everything we now consider culture, writing, law, architecture, mathematics, and astronomy were sown. The Sumerians remind us that human progress is rarely linear. It is the result of millennia of adaptation, ingenuity, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. As we turn from the bustling streets of Uruk to the advanced technologies recorded in clay tablets, we glimpse not only the dawn of writing, but the emergence of a species capable of shaping its own destiny. And so, from Ice Age ingenuity to urban sophistication, The story of Sumer begins a civilization whose knowledge would ripple across time, influencing every city, law, and written word that followed. Asterisk in the Fertile Crescent where the Tigris and Euphrates met, Sumerians did more than build cities, they mastered the natural world. From the heavens to the soil, their knowledge was precise, systematic, and far ahead of its time. Astronomy, mathematics, and technology were not separate pursuits. They were woven into the fabric of everyday life, guiding agriculture, religion, and governance alike. Sumerian astronomers charted the skies with remarkable accuracy. Clay tablets reveal lunar calendars, planetary observations, and predictions of celestial events. They divided time into units we still use today: 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle, showing not just practical measurement but abstract understanding of the cosmos. These weren't mere calculations. They were tools for survival, guiding planting seasons, religious festivals, and trade. Mathematics was no less sophisticated. Sumerians used a base 60 system, enabling complex calculations for architecture, land measurement, and commerce. Their geometric principles shaped everything from the layout of city streets to the proportions of ziggurats. Each tablet preserved knowledge, allowing skills to be transmitted across generations, creating continuity and technological advancement that defined the civilization. Agriculture, the lifeblood of Sumer, was transformed by ingenuity. Irrigation canals stretched for miles, capturing and distributing river water with careful engineering. Fields of barley, wheat, and flax flourished in what would otherwise be arid land. The plow, wheel, and sickle, tools we take for granted today, were perfected here. Sumerian ingenuity didn't stop at efficiency. It anticipated growth, enabling surplus production, trade, and urban expansion. Metallurgy reflected both art and science. Bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, replaced stone and copper, enabling stronger tools and weapons. Pottery and ceramics were functional yet decorated with intricate patterns, showing aesthetic sensibility alongside technical mastery. Even ordinary objects bore witness to a civilization thinking not just about survival but about refinement, durability, and utility. Sumerian innovation extended into medicine and public health. Clay tablets described treatments for wounds, fevers, and digestive issues. Herbs, poultices, and surgical tools were cataloged with precision. The combination of observation, experimentation, and recording demonstrates an early scientific approach, one that allowed knowledge to accumulate rather than disappear with each passing generation. Evidence also suggests that Sumerians were capable of long-distance problem-solving. The construction of ziggurats required understanding of weight distribution, foundation stability, and large-scale organization of labor. Irrigation systems demanded coordination across hundreds of workers to prevent flooding and maximize yield. This was technology as applied social engineering, where human organization and natural understanding were inseparable. Perhaps most remarkable was the synthesis of practical knowledge and cultural expression. Calendars weren't just tools, they connected humans to cosmic cycles. Architectural measurements weren't only structural, they aligned with astronomical events. Every innovation, every calculation, every invention was embedded in a worldview that merged science, spirituality, and society. In Sumer, technology was not separate from life. It defined life, from the precision of their mathematics to the sophistication of their tools. The Sumerians demonstrate that knowledge, when applied thoughtfully, can reshape the world. Their legacy reminds us that technological advancement is not simply about machines, but about understanding, planning, and collaboration. Through these achievements, we see that the Sumerians were not merely surviving, they were building a civilization rooted in intelligence, observation, and foresight. From irrigation canals that tamed rivers to clay tablets that preserved knowledge, their ingenuity set humanity on a trajectory that would resonate through millennia, influencing every civilization that followed. Asterisk in the heart of Sumer, life and belief were inseparable. Every action, from sowing barley to building ziggurats, was steeped in religious significance. The Sumerians saw the world as alive with divine forces, each city under the protection of a particular god or goddess, each natural event a message from the heavens. Religion was not a separate sphere, it was the lens through which they understood everything. The pantheon was vast and complex. Anu, the sky god, oversaw the heavens, and Lil, god of air and storms, held sway over the winds that could nourish or destroy crops. Inanna, goddess of love and war, embodied the duality of creation and conflict. Temples, or ziggurats, were both political and spiritual centers, monumental in scale and precision, reflecting the belief that humans could bridge the earthly and divine. These structures were engineered to align with celestial patterns, suggesting that Sumerian spirituality was inseparable from astronomical knowledge. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest surviving written story, offers insight into Sumerian values and fears. Gilgamesh's journey to seek immortality reflects a profound contemplation of mortality, friendship, and the human condition. The flood narrative, echoing later biblical accounts, illustrates their understanding of nature's power and humanity's vulnerability. Through these texts, we see myth functioning as both moral guide and historical record, blending imagination with lived experience. Symbolism was pervasive. Cylinder seals, intricately carved, served as signatures, amulets, and storytelling devices, capturing myths, daily life, and political authority in a single object. Statues of gods and humans depicted ideals, virtues, and social hierarchies. Even mundane objects, pottery, jewelry, weapons were inscribed with symbols meant to protect, bless, or convey identity. Art and myth were not decoration, they were communication, a visual and narrative language binding society together. Religious rituals were elaborate, communal, and codified. Offerings, processions, and festivals structured the calendar, reinforcing social cohesion. Priests and priestesses mediated between the mortal and divine, interpreting omens, performing ceremonies, and managing temple wealth. The spiritual and political authority were intertwined, demonstrating that belief was inseparable from governance and societal order. The Sumerians also sought to understand natural phenomena through mythology. Rivers, storms, celestial events, and even plagues were attributed to the whims of gods. This was not mere superstition, it was a framework for observation, pattern recognition, and risk management in a world where survival depended on understanding the environment. Rituals and myths codified knowledge, preserved it across generations, and provided context for events that might otherwise have seemed arbitrary or terrifying. Connections between the religious and technological are striking. Ziggurats aligned with solstices and equinoxes, lunar calendars guided agricultural cycles, symbols carved into tools, vessels and monuments encoded instructions, warnings, or blessings. Myth and science were not separate, each reinforced the other. A ritual could be both a spiritual practice and a practical guide for planting, harvesting, or city management. Sumerian symbolism even extended to morality and social behavior. The depiction of gods punishing the wicked or rewarding the virtuous reinforced norms, while tales of heroism and divine intervention inspired aspiration and unity. The combination of awe, narrative, and instruction created a culture in which belief, action, and survival were tightly interwoven. Through their religion, mythology, and symbolism, the Sumerians left a legacy that transcended time. They crafted a civilization where cosmic understanding, moral guidance, and societal cohesion were inseparable. Every tablet, temple, and artifact reveals not just what they knew, but how they thought, what they valued, and how they interpreted the world around them. Religion was their lens, myth their memory, and symbolism their language, a triad that allowed Sumerians to thrive in a challenging world, and to leave a record that continues to captivate and inform us today. Beneath the sun-baked soil of Mesopotamia, archaeologists have unearthed records that challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient knowledge. Clay tablets, meticulously inscribed with cuneiform, reveal sophisticated understanding far beyond what a civilization of farmers and herders should have achieved. Some depict mathematical equations, astronomical calculations, and engineering principles that resonate eerily with discoveries millennia later. These are not mere notations, they are precise instructions, observations, and in some cases, knowledge that modern scholars still struggle to fully interpret. One of the most astonishing finds is the Plimpton 322 tablet, a piece of clay dating to around 1800 BCE, containing a list of Pythagorean triples, relationships, and right triangles centuries before Pythagoras himself. How could these early scribes have developed such advanced mathematical concepts without the tools, universities, or theoretical frameworks we assume necessary? The tablet suggests a culture of empirical observation, meticulous recording, and an innate mathematical intuition that allowed them to codify complex principles with startling accuracy. Then there are astronomical charts, etched with care and precision. The Sumerians tracked celestial bodies, the phases of the moon, planetary movements, and even predicted eclipses. These observations weren't just for curiosity, they were tied to agriculture, ritual, and governance. By understanding the heavens, they could plan planting cycles, organize festivals, and assert political authority by appearing aligned with cosmic order. Some tablets even suggest awareness of long-term planetary cycles, hinting at a depth of knowledge that rivals early modern astronomy. Other records hint at technologies and events lost to history. Certain inscriptions reference metallurgical techniques, water management systems, or construction methods that seem far ahead of their time. Could some of these descriptions point to inventions or knowledge that disappeared with the fall of the Sumerian city-states? Controversial interpretations abound, ranging from advanced hydraulics to speculative connections with forgotten civilizations. While mainstream archaeology remains cautious, the precision and consistency of the records cannot be dismissed. Mysterious tablets also describe phenomena that challenge conventional chronology. Some texts allude to floods, astronomical events, and shifts in environmental patterns with a level of detail that raises questions about observation, recording, and collective memory. Were these mere coincidence, allegory, or evidence of a civilization capable of documenting events with unprecedented accuracy? Modern researchers, including epigraphers and historians, continue to debate the implications. Every line, symbol, and numerical entry seems to whisper secrets, tantalizingly close but frustratingly incomplete. The methodology behind these records is equally impressive. Scribes underwent rigorous training, mastering hundreds of signs, learning to encode information efficiently, and ensuring that knowledge could be transmitted across generations. This systematic approach to recording, combining mathematics, language, and observation, created a knowledge repository that could survive political upheaval, environmental disaster, and centuries of neglect. The durability of clay as a medium has preserved not only words but patterns of thought, problem-solving methods, and even cultural priorities. What makes these records truly extraordinary is the consistency across regions and time. Tablets from Ur, Nippur, and Lagash show a standardized approach to notation, calculation, and symbol usage. It suggests that Sumerian knowledge wasn't isolated, it was part of a wider intellectual network, a proto-scientific culture that valued precision, replication, and accuracy. Scholars like Dr. Samuel Kramer emphasize that this isn't the work of isolated geniuses, it's a collective achievement, demonstrating organized education, experimentation, and documentation. Yet some tablets remain inexplicable. They contain symbols, diagrams, or sequences that defy current understanding. Some appear to describe phenomena unknown in modern science, while others record astronomical cycles with uncanny accuracy. Are these the remnants of lost technology, or simply the artifacts of a sophisticated but now obscure cultural logic? Researchers debate fiercely. Every discovery sparks new questions. Did the Sumerians build on older knowledge? Were they inspired by natural patterns? Or did they possess insights lost in the millennia that followed? One of the most provocative aspects is the apparent interconnection of knowledge. Mathematics, astronomy, agriculture, and ritual are not separate domains, they intersect in the records. For instance, an agricultural almanac may include lunar calculations, seasonal predictions, and ritual instructions, showing an integrated worldview where science, religion, and daily life are inseparable. Modern compartmentalization of disciplines contrasts sharply with this holistic approach. Ultimately, the ancient records of Sumerian civilization challenge our assumptions about progress, human ingenuity, and the continuity of knowledge. They demonstrate that early humans were not merely primitive observers, but active thinkers, experimenters, and record keepers whose insights could rival, and in some cases surpass, those of later societies. These tablets are more than artifacts, they are windows into a mindscape where curiosity, precision, and reverence for the cosmos shaped a civilization that continues to astonish. As we study these enigmatic documents, one thought persists: every tablet, chart, and inscription is a conversation across time. They speak of human curiosity, diligence, and the eternal quest for understanding. The Sumerians were not simply chroniclers of their era, they were architects of knowledge, leaving a legacy that may yet hold secrets waiting to redefine our understanding of human history. The bustling streets of ancient Mesopotamian cities were alive with movement, color, and exchange. From Ur to Lagash, traders carried goods along dusty paths and river channels, weaving an intricate network that connected city-states, distant villages, and even lands far beyond the Fertile Crescent. These trade routes were the arteries of Sumerian civilization, pumping not just material wealth but ideas, technologies, and culture. Sumerian merchants traded staples like grain, barley, and dates, but also rare and exotic items, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, carnelian from India, shells from the Persian Gulf, and copper from Anatolia. Every transaction was more than an economic activity, it was an exchange of knowledge. Pottery styles, weaving techniques, and artistic motifs traveled alongside physical goods, creating a shared cultural vocabulary across regions. Communication, both written and oral, was central to this network. The invention of cuneiform allowed Sumerians to keep meticulous records of transactions, contracts, and inventories. Merchants could document deals, track shipments, and resolve disputes without relying solely on memory. These tablets reveal an early form of proto-globalization, a society aware that information, like trade, needed structure, precision, and reliability to flourish. Cultural exchange extended beyond commerce. Music, storytelling, and art traveled along these routes, bridging communities. Sumerian myths and epics, once recited aloud, inspired neighboring civilizations, while artistic techniques spread from city to city, influencing pottery, sculpture, and even architectural styles. Temples and palaces became hubs of innovation, where scribes, artisans, and traders intersected, sharing ideas that would ripple across generations. Interestingly, trade also shaped diplomacy and political alliances. City-states negotiated access to resources, water, and strategic routes, often sealing agreements with gifts, symbolic artifacts, or written treaties. These interactions reveal a sophisticated understanding of negotiation, trust, and reputation. A merchant carrying rare goods was not just a trader but an ambassador, transmitting not only products but social norms, knowledge, and cultural identity. The Sumerians understood that communication was more than mere words or records. Their symbols and art conveyed complex social and spiritual ideas, and their written language allowed abstract concepts to endure through time. Music, too, played a unifying role. Lyres, flutes, and drums accompanied gatherings, rituals, and storytelling, reinforcing bonds across communities. Cultural continuity was maintained not just through survival but through shared expression, performance, and symbolic practice. Even the layout of cities facilitated communication. Public squares, temples, and ziggurats were central points where people met, exchanged goods, and transmitted knowledge. Streets became living classrooms. Marketplaces transformed into hubs of learning, and written records ensured that wisdom could survive generations. Trade, culture, and communication were intertwined in Sumerian society, forming a web of interaction that propelled civilization forward. This network was the lifeblood of Mesopotamia, a complex system where commerce, creativity, and information flowed together, creating a foundation upon which later civilizations would build. Through these networks, Sumerians left a profound legacy, a testament to the power of connection, the importance of knowledge exchange, and the enduring human drive to communicate, create, and collaborate. The grandeur of Sumerian city-states, with their towering ziggurats and bustling marketplaces, could not shield them from the inexorable forces of change. For centuries, Sumerians thrived through ingenuity, trade, and culture, but their civilization was not immune to environmental, political, and social pressures. Gradually, the foundation that had sustained these remarkable cities began to shift. Environmental stressors played a pivotal role. Archaeological studies reveal evidence of salinization in irrigated fields, a gradual accumulation of salts that rendered once fertile land barren. As crops failed, food scarcity increased, undermining social cohesion and prompting migration. River patterns shifted, perhaps due to climatic fluctuations, forcing communities to adapt rapidly or perish. Such changes demanded resilience, yet even the most adaptive societies face limits. Political fragmentation compounded the challenge. Sumer was never a unified state. It consisted of city-states like Uruk, and Lagash, each vying for dominance. Conflicts over water rights, trade routes, and territory escalated into frequent skirmishes and sieges. While rulers attempted to consolidate power, competing interests often undermined collective solutions, leaving cities vulnerable to both internal strife and external threats. Social transformation was equally profound. The egalitarian networks of early urban Sumer gradually gave way to hierarchies that emphasized wealth, status, and religious authority. Burials became more elaborate, emphasizing elite privilege. Records suggest increasing inequality and access to resources. reinforcing social stratification. The communal bonds that had once underpinned society weakened as power concentrated in fewer hands. Yet Sumerians did not vanish quietly. Knowledge, technology, and culture persisted, transmitted to succeeding civilizations. The Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians inherited cuneiform, urban planning, and astronomical observations. Temples and libraries preserved texts that documented mathematics, law, and cosmology. Even as city-states fell, the intellectual achievements of Sumer endured, forming the bedrock for future empires. Archaeological evidence shows a staggered decline rather than sudden collapse. Some cities shrank gradually, while others maintained cultural and economic activity for centuries before fading. Artifacts reveal continuity in craft and ritual, suggesting that the people adapted to new political realities while preserving key elements of Sumerian identity. The lessons from this transformation are profound. Societies, no matter how advanced, remain vulnerable to environmental change, political instability, and social imbalance. Yet the endurance of knowledge demonstrates the resilience of human innovation. Sumerians remind us that civilizations may fall, but ideas, culture, and wisdom can survive, guiding future generations. As the rivers shifted and fields became salty, the Sumerians faced a choice: resist and collapse or adapt and transform. They chose both. Some resisted, leaving ruins as silent witnesses. Others adapted, integrating their wisdom into new societies. Through this process, the flame of Sumerian civilization passed forward, illuminating the path for humanity's continuing journey. The story of the Sumerians is not merely a chronicle of the distant past. It is a mirror reflecting lessons that resonate with our world today. Their successes, failures, and innovations offer insights into urban planning, social cooperation, and the delicate balance between progress and sustainability. One of the most striking lessons lies in urban design. Sumerian cities were carefully planned, with streets, canals, and communal spaces designed to optimize both function and social interaction. Modern urban planners can draw inspiration from this approach, emphasizing connectivity, resource management, and human-scale architecture. The ziggurats, while religious in purpose, also served as centers of administration and community gathering. An early example of multifunctional infrastructure. Agriculture, too, offers a cautionary tale. The Sumerians pioneered irrigation systems that transformed arid land into fertile fields, feeding dense populations. However, over-irrigation eventually led to soil salinization, demonstrating the importance of sustainable resource management. Today, as climate change and intensive farming threaten modern agriculture, Sumerian experience underscores the need for innovation that respects ecological limits. Social cooperation was central to their resilience. Sumerians organized labor for massive projects, shared knowledge through written records, and maintained networks of trade and communication across city-states. The emphasis on collaboration, rather than pure individual gain, allowed complex societies to flourish. In our era of rapid globalization, where coordination across nations is critical for addressing challenges like climate change or pandemics, the Sumerian model remains profoundly relevant. Cultural preservation emerges as another lesson. Sumerians invested in documenting their achievements: mathematics, astronomy, literature, and law, ensuring that their knowledge endured beyond political collapse. Modern humanity can learn the value of preserving information and cultural heritage, especially in a world where digital data can be lost or corrupted, and historical memory is vulnerable to neglect. Innovation balanced with sustainability was their defining challenge. The Sumerians advanced technology, trade, and governance rapidly, but environmental mismanagement and social inequality contributed to societal stress. For contemporary societies, this balance remains crucial. Scientific advancement must be guided by long-term consequences, ensuring that growth does not undermine the systems that support it. The Sumerians also remind us that adaptation is essential. Despite environmental, political, and social pressures, they adjusted their practices, migrated when necessary, and integrated knowledge into subsequent civilizations. Human adaptability, the ability to learn, pivot, and apply wisdom, is perhaps the most enduring lesson we inherit. Finally, Sumerian stories illustrate the importance of curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge. From astronomical records predicting celestial events to the Epic of Gilgamesh exploring existential questions, Sumerians sought to understand the world and their place within it. Their quest mirrors our own drive for discovery, reminding us that intellectual curiosity and cultural expression are timeless hallmarks of humanity. By examining the successes and failures of Sumerians, we confront questions central to modern life. How can societies thrive sustainably? How can knowledge be preserved and shared? How can we balance innovation with ecological and social responsibility? The echoes of Sumerian wisdom invite reflection and provide guidance as we navigate the complex challenges of the 21st century. As we draw our journey through the ancient world to a close, the Sumerians stand not merely as figures of history, but as teachers whose lessons ripple across millennia. Their cities, texts, and artifacts are more than relics. They are windows into a civilization that dared to dream, innovate, and record its aspiration for posterity. From their pioneering urban designs to intricate irrigation systems, Sumerians mastered the art of balancing human needs with environmental constraints. Yet they also remind us of the fragility of progress. Overuse of resources, social hierarchies, and political tensions ultimately challenged their society, proving that ingenuity alone is insufficient without foresight and sustainability. Modern civilizations face parallel dilemmas, making their story uncannily relevant today. The Sumerians' written records, etched in clay and stone, preserve knowledge that continues to astonish scholars. Mathematics, astronomy, literature, and law. These were not merely academic exercises. They were tools for survival, governance, and understanding the cosmos. They teach us that recording and sharing knowledge is not a luxury, but a necessity, ensuring that human achievement endures beyond the lifespan of individuals and political regimes. Perhaps most profoundly, the Sumerians exemplify adaptability. They innovated in response to environmental pressures, collaborated across cities, and integrated ideas from distant lands. Their civilization reminds us that adaptability, cooperation, and foresight are timeless qualities essential for survival and progress in facing today's challenges: climate change, overpopulation, technological transformation. We too must learn to adapt, balancing growth with sustainability and ambition with prudence. Culturally, the Sumerians reveal the enduring power of storytelling, music, and ritual. Their myths, from the Epic of Gilgamesh to tales of gods and heroes, were not mere entertainment. They were frameworks for understanding human nature, morality, and the cosmos. In a world increasingly dominated by digital distractions, their dedication to narrative and cultural expression reminds us that meaning, connection, and identity are cultivated through shared stories. As our exploration concludes, we are left with lingering questions, the same ones that likely fascinated Sumerian scholars and scribes thousands of years ago. What unknown knowledge might still lie hidden in the ruins of ancient civilizations? How much of humanity's past remains to be rediscovered, waiting to reshape our understanding of ourselves? And most crucially, what will we do with the wisdom we inherit? The Sumerians did not merely survive, they built a civilization that reflected curiosity, resilience, and ingenuity. They remind us that the arc of human history is shaped not just by survival, but by the drive to understand, create, and leave a legacy. As the clay tablets crumble and the ziggurats erode, their insights persist, whispering across time to those willing to listen. In contemplating their achievements, we confront both inspiration and caution. Progress is possible, but it requires responsibility. Knowledge is powerful, but it is most enduring when shared. Human civilization is resilient, but it thrives when aligned with the natural world. And in every artifact, every record, and every story, the Sumerians invite us to look beyond the surface of history, to question assumptions, and to embrace the adventure of discovery. As the camera pans over the ruins of the fading sunlight, casting long shadows over ancient streets, one truth becomes clear: if the Sumerians knew so much, what else is waiting to be rediscovered? The past is not a static memory, it is a guide, a challenge, and a mirror for the future. The story of humanity is unfinished, and like the Sumerians before us, we hold the pen. What we write next depends on our willingness to learn, adapt, and imagine beyond what we think we know. As we reflect on the Sumerians' achievements, one question emerges: what secrets of humanity remain buried, waiting to be uncovered? Archaeology has given us fragments, clay tablets, inscriptions, and ruins, but the full story is far from complete. For every discovery, there are countless others lost to time, hidden beneath layers of sand, mud, or forgotten cities. Modern technology is transforming our ability to read the past. Ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR scanning, and 3D reconstruction allow archaeologists to peer beneath the surface without disturbing fragile sites. Ancient tablets once thought indecipherable are now analyzed with AI algorithms, revealing patterns, calculations, and even narratives previously invisible to human eyes. Perhaps one day, we will decode texts that explain lost knowledge of astronomy, engineering, or medicine far beyond what we currently understand. Sumerian society also hints at the possibility that other civilizations, contemporaneous or even earlier, may have left evidence we have yet to recognize. Some tablets refer to distant lands, travelers, and technologies that seem anachronistic for their time. Could there have been exchanges of knowledge between ancient civilizations that modern history has overlooked? Could the Sumerians themselves have been custodians of even older traditions? The speculative realm invites imagination. Lost archives beneath desert sands, sunken cities along now submerged rivers, and forgotten libraries in remote valleys. Each discovery would challenge what we think we know about human history. It would rewrite our understanding of innovation, adaptation, and human ingenuity. Yet speculation is not mere fantasy. History is filled with moments when what seemed impossible was later confirmed. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe, predating agriculture by thousands of years, reminded us that humans were capable of monumental projects far earlier than assumed. Likewise, perhaps the next great revelation lies in a Sumerian tablet, a ziggurat foundation, or a forgotten temple waiting to reveal its story. The lesson is profound. Curiosity and persistence drive human progress. The Sumerians remind us that civilizations rise not merely through survival, but through creativity, record keeping, and exploration. As modern explorers of the past, we carry the responsibility to preserve what remains, interpret it responsibly, and remain open to the astonishing. As our journey through ancient Sumeria concludes, we are left not with answers alone, but with a challenge to continue seeking, questioning, and imagining. If history teaches us anything, it is that human potential is limitless. Just as the Sumerians once looked to the skies, mapped the heavens, and recorded their dreams on clay, we too must look forward, charting the unknown, uncovering secrets, and daring to expand the boundaries of what we know. The past is not static, it is an invitation, and with every discovery, we are reminded the story of humanity is still being written, and the next chapter may hold revelations that change everything we thought we understood. As our journey through time and memory draws to a close, we pause to reflect on the incredible story of human ingenuity. From the icy tundras of the Ice Age to the sun-baked plains of summer, humans have continually adapted, innovated, and recorded their existence. Every artifact, every tablet, every note of music or carved figurine is a testament to our species' endless curiosity. What stands out most is not just the knowledge the Sumerians amassed, or the societies they built, but the spirit they embodied, the relentless pursuit of understanding, the courage to explore the unknown, and the desire to leave a mark for future generations. These achievements remind us that civilization is not merely a sequence of inventions or conquests. It is a tapestry woven from creativity, care, and collective effort. As we face the challenges of our own era, climate change, technological transformation, and cultural shifts, we can draw lessons from the past. The Sumerians teach us that knowledge is both a gift and a responsibility. They show that survival alone is not enough. To thrive, humanity must document, innovate, and connect. Their records, etched in clay thousands of years ago, whisper across millennia, urging us to look beyond the immediate, to ask deeper questions, and to imagine possibilities beyond what we can see. Perhaps most profoundly, the past invites wonder. The mysteries of ancient civilizations, the gaps in our knowledge, and the stories yet to be uncovered remind us that the human story is unfinished. Every discovery, every new insight, expands the horizon of what we understand about ourselves. And in that expansion lies hope. The hope that future generations will continue to learn, adapt, and create. As the sun sets over the ancient ruins, as the wind whispers through forgotten temples, as the clay tablets lie silent yet full of meaning, we are reminded history is alive. The Sumerians, the Ice Age hunters, and countless others speak to us, still not with words alone, but with the enduring legacy of their actions. So, let us carry this legacy forward. Let us honor curiosity, preserve knowledge, and seek wisdom. Let us wonder, for it is wonder that has propelled humanity from the caves to the stars. And as we close the chapter on this exploration of the past, we ask ourselves one final question. What else lies hidden in the sands of time, waiting to change everything we think we know?